Hello everyone and welcome back to some more Mogi Mondays, except today's not Monday, it's Tuesday, but hopefully I get this out pretty soon because it's very late. But regardless, this, as you can probably tell, is not the start of the Mogi. We're at the third race because I'm going to be showing you guys four different Mogis, and that's why the total time of this video is not 30 minutes, it's almost 40 minutes, so yeah. We're going to be going through 4 different Mogis, the most exciting races from every single one, and I gotta say, this is just this is gonna be basically a clinic as to why, mistakes matter, essentially, because and why it's so brutal to play this game sometimes, because one tiny mistake can really just end your race, and it's gonna show that in a bunch of these. But at the same time, Mario Kart can be very exciting, and you're just going to have to see which races are exciting and which races are brutal. So, anyways, we're on Mushroom Gorge now, bagging it up, as we always do. Now we have a star single true, which is not the greatest pull, especially how far away first is. We should be getting a lot better pulls, but we end up getting another star, which is okay. It's good enough, but we're in last. And tag is Z, by the way, so my teammate is right there, the yellow Yoshi in front of us in 9th. I'm going to take this cut with the star because first is far enough away where you get a broken set here. My teammate falls off the track, gets greened off. And I have a ghost here, and I'm like, okay, this is pretty good. No one has dodges in front of me except for me, and I'm the only one who gets the shock dodge. Bam! Too easy. And yeah, this is, just a typical Mushroom Gorge comeback. My teammate was the one who ended up pulling the shock there at the end. I don't know if he fell off and then pulled the shock or pulled it from the set. Either way, though, very good race. And my teammate somehow pulled 4th out of his ass, somehow. He was, like, dead last going to the final cut, and just, yeah. And we're also not going to be showing every single race in full. For example, this Waluigi pinball ending. I was trailing that red, so I wanted to make sure I got a shot at maybe a Nana or a Horn. I got a Nana, didn't get to cancel it in time. But luckily, the shock canceled it instead. So if we got the Nana cancel off, I probably wouldn't have gotten first that race. But instead, perfectly canceled blue shell. And that's just the type of luck I was having this Mogi. As you can see by the scores here, I'm on 65, and this was the 5th race. Or no, not the 5th race, the 6th race. So 65 after 5, that's 130 pace. So now we're heading over to race 8, trying to see if we can keep this pace up on DK Mountain. And these starts are always super chaotic at the beginning. You kind of just have to hope you get a draft or really, really good driving at the beginning to kind of catch up. And I really like to run this track because shocks aren't usually that bad for the people running. Because what happens is, if you get far enough ahead, you'll get shocked like right as you get onto the mountain here. And that shock is very good because if you are in first and the people behind you get shocked, they don't get to take the mountain cut. So, and that's the most common shock spot by far. And usually the people in like 2nd, 3rd aren't going to be dodging, so you don't have to worry about them, pulling items either, because they'll be usually after the set as well. So that's why I really like to run this track, is just because the very common shock spot, and those greens were very close by the way, but the very common shock spot is most often going to be pretty good for you. And here we see the blue is already out. I'm in 3rd with Shroom Horn, which is really good. That guy backs out, but he doesn't back out in time, and I should have Shroomed there. I don't know why I didn't. Looking back at this, that was a very obvious Shroom to get out of the way of the blue. I just thought I was making it. But yeah, that one mistake could be very costly here. Triple Shroom's Horn, though. We're back into 3rd with the exact same pull. We just have a little bit less coins, and we're going to get a couple of them back here. And also, let me know in the comment section below if you enjoy this type of post-commentary, want me to see me do something similar again. Because I just want to see what you guys like, full Mogis or these kind of things more. Anyways, let's Shroom Horn this guy, get him out of here. He's a big threat. Don't want to have to deal with him. He almost rage rings me, but luckily he does not. That shock, very good for me. And the blue is out, so this is looking very good. I still have 5 coins, which is pretty decent. But the blue goes absolutely sonic speed. It takes me out. And I need to go up the mountain there, or I need to go wide. I can't be sitting basically in the right side there. Anywhere between the right and the middle is just going to be absolute death for you. And yeah, at this point I'm like, okay, well I'm still in 4th. I can still get a decent spot, but no protection for the end. And I'm just like, okay, please, no red. Oh, there could be a shock. I got shocked on the glider, lap 3. And I'm getting shocked here at the end of the race. And we go from 4th all the way to 7th, which is a brutal ending. And my teammate isn't last. And he's only on 25 points after, now this is 8th, the 8th race. So we go from being basically top dog to, I think that was us in 4th. It might have been 3rd. But we're very close to 4th at least. Now we get Ribbon Road. And this is actually one of my favorite, like, not necessarily uncommon tracks, but it's one of my favorite, like, non-runners, I guess. Because it's just gives such chaotic endings and everything is just such a sight to see. We're already top 2 at this point. I thought about going wide for my teammate there, but I was just thinking, okay, let me just back these nanas instead and go for the double. Hopefully pull a shroom here. End up pulling one, which is great. Now I get to shroom into 1st. Take the blue for my teammate, potentially, since he's been having a terrible time so far. Maybe that'll help him out. But, we're still top 2, even after the guy in 3rd takes cut. But he ends up shrooming into 1st, which I am totally fine with. And at this point, he has a shroom in 1st. I have red in 2nd. This is prime position. I end up backing because I want to show that I'm peaceful with him. And my real goal is to pull a shroom, not really to pull reds, because on this track, the cut is way more powerful than double redding out 1st. And I almost fall off the track there. But luckily, we just barely make it. But I made it off the track. And then I horn to try and get rid of my items before the... and then I horn the blue! So, yeah, that was certainly very bad. But it quad shrooms. Very, very lucky, as you can tell. The luck has been on fire this bogey so far. 2-3 now, which is a good spot. Horning that blue for the guy in 1st that was not my teammate could have actually be working out here because, well, my teammate would be 1st right now instead of 3-4, and this is going to give him an opportunity to pull shrooms. I thought I was getting redded there, so I ended up using my shroom. Didn't want to risk anything, and I'm just going to go wide here because I don't want to get fired by the ghost, or I don't want to get trailed or backed, and I'm just hoping for shrooms here, but unfortunately, we do not. And we lose a ton of spots here, but not as much as I thought. Only losing 2 and getting 7th, so that's pretty good. So now we're going to see where we're at. My teammate luckily got 1st. He ended up pulling a shroom at the end, I'm pretty sure. So even though he's on 25 a couple races ago, now he's on 52, which is decent with 2 races left, considering everything that happened to him. And yeah, now we're on Amsterdam Drift. This track gives plenty of wild races. I don't know what I was doing there, but it kind of worked. Nano step attempt on my teammate, ends up getting the guy right behind him instead. And I get a draft here, almost into 2nd place. Getting into 3rd instead. Have 2 shrooms, and I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to shroom up here, hopefully get a protection item, and then run it up from there. Got my protection. I just wanted to shroom up there. There's no real cuts coming up, so I thought getting ahead of the guy, well, there's that tiny cut right there, which he just used, but to get ahead there is completely fine, I think, especially to avoid maybe potential triple greens or things like that. And we got a really, really early shock. Like, that is probably the earliest shock you will ever see on this track. And it ended up not even being that bad for me. It barely got the double there. Didn't end any shrooms, though. That's the tough part. Timmy has a bomb in front of me. So he's going to throw this forward, hopefully. And I'm just going to have to chain here and hope for something good. Because at this point, bagging, just not worth it, considering we're going into lap 3. And there's a blue, and this gets really close, and I barely avoid it. I had no idea where the blue was going to go there, and unfortunately, despite me pulling off some insane maneuvers, I do not avoid the star there. But luckily, I got a little bit of karma back, and the 3 people in front of me, including my teammate, unfortunately, got bombed. And I'm like, okay, I'm in a great spot here. I'm in 3rd, but I see the fire, and it bounces off and gets me. And then I do a terrible shroom, and another bomb. This time, it gets me. And now I'm thinking, oh no, I didn't see my teammate. Oh, there he is. Yep, this is 10-11 for us. And that is a horrible race. And we are just about to get back into it. And unfortunately, now we are looking absolutely terrible. I think we were 4th there. I actually did the scores before this, but I didn't, unfortunately, update that one for some reason. I thought I got all of them. Anyways, going to the last race, we could get third. We could get second. You guys will see the correct scores, by the way. But anyways, I have Golden Bill. Luckily, was able to avoid the bomb there. Bill Golden's pretty good. Now, the aim here is just get the Bill extension. That's going to get me at least 7th if I Bill in 12th. And I ended up dodging the shock, so I'm like, okay, that's good. But then the Bill ended a little early, and I'm like, okay, I guess I'll get 5th or 6th here, and got 6th. I did see my teammate not dodge the shock. He was in the back, and I think he's getting 10th here. And we did not get a good enough race to beat HD. Or no, it wasn't HD. It was the other team. Anyways, so instead of getting 3rd, we get 4th here. 7 points behind. I'm not too sure how good of a race they got last race. But we almost lost to HD, actually. If they got a top 2 and we got a little bit worse spots, that would have been a lot of MMR loss. But instead, we just lose 50. And now, we're on Villager. On the 5th race of this Mogi, I am on 20 after 4. And this is an FFA. So, my score is the only one that matters here. Goodbye. Yep, that's the first time I chilled Troy Strat in, like, forever. Very bad start. But, you know, it could be worse. I'm glad I'm failing something that simple. That doesn't really matter on lap 1. So, anyways, the whole point of this is to just bag for good items, catch up later on, and either dodge the shock mid to late lap 2, or get a really big comeback on lap 3. So, Bill Star, this is an absolutely fantastic pull. My hope here is that, since I know shock is probably not coming here, even if it does, it's not going to be a big deal for me. I have like 2 minutes left in the track at that point. But my plan here is I Bill basically when the shock would come the earliest, which is right there. And then the hope is I chain my star into the last set, and that's where the most common shock spot is. Like, they could shock here. It could happen sometimes, but I would still be in a decent spot to come back, and I chain my star as late as possible. Bottom 4 is just about to cross the set, and BAM! Shock dodge. So now we have Boomerang triple shrooms, which is a great pull. Because now, even if this guy in second ends up pulling a red, he will be no threat to me, because I have 3 sets of protection because of the 3 boomerang shots. And he's not going to be close enough to really pull a shroom and pass me, unless he pulls like multiple. So I'm big chillin' here. I'm thinking nothing can stop me, except for a ghost. And now I shroom up here because I don't want to try and tempt him to red me, and I got the little mole cycle a little bit earlier as well. And I'm saving 2 shrooms. One for either a blue or a red, and 1 for the shortcut. And I see the Bill coming up. I wanted to see what items he had. Luckily, he has triple nanas, so he's not going to be able to red me at all. I see the blue out, and at this point, I'm thinking, okay, take the cut, dodge the blue, easy first. What could go wrong? But I see the red, and the blue ended up taking out the red for me. So if that red came a little bit later, it would have got me right on the line, probably getting 3rd or 4th instead of 1st. So it's a very, very good race. That brings us back in it. And we go from 20 to 35 in one race, bring us all the way back to average pace, tied 6th. So good race. Now we move on to DK Summit. Looking at near the end of this track, I guess more towards the middle, I guess, but either way, we're here. And as you see, I'm in 1st. I love running this track. Usually the shocks and the blues aren't too bad. Now, you'd rather be in 2nd, but, you know, people in 3rd and 4th will generally pull really good items. We see the blue come out, and it gets me right over the chasm, barely avoiding complete and utter death. And we're back to 10 coins in 2nd. So we got the optimal spot to be in after the blue. So, yeah, unfortunately, this is what can happen, is you can get absolutely destroyed by the people who pull busted items in 3rd, 4th, and 5th, and things like that. But luckily, I bagged and made sure I was in 6th place, because 3 through 5 get way worse items than 6th place. So I got Bill Golden from that broken set, and luckily was able to bill up, and I have a golden for the strat at the end. It's basically the perfect pull. And golden in the smart string double. And I'm thinking, I'm just getting 1st this race, but I see another guy with a golden up here. So I'm like, okay, easy 2nd. I even have a horn too. I horn a little bit later just to make sure I take him out, and he just lags through it. I got his trail, which if I didn't horn, I probably would have gotten trailed. But I didn't get him somehow. And so that's just 2 points that I should have gotten, and it would have been over competition as well. And we're in 3rd place, which is pretty good, but it should have been a 2nd or even 1st. But we're halfway through, looking pretty good. 45 after 6 is nothing to slouch at. And here we get Mount Wario. Usually this is very good for the spot I'm in, but I got all 3 of the coins, and I got a mushroom. I didn't want to take the cut there, just because usually top 2 lags through the coins, so you want to be able to go for those. And also, the cut doesn't really benefit you too much. I'd rather shroom in this part, but unfortunately I failed it. I probably would have been first there if I got the wall clip correctly. Maybe it's even best to just hold my shroom the entire time. But I also don't want to get bumped off, so that shroom kind of ensures that I don't. And this guy, trailing a bomb first, is not super scary right now, but this pink Yoshi, I think, has a ton of coins. And he's getting closer and closer to the bomb. And he pulls a green, or no, he pulls a red, so I'm like, okay, he might actually red this bomb at some point, but where? Where is that going to happen? And I'm thinking, okay, first he's just going to go left here, and he's drifting to the left, but then he ends up going for the Nisk here. I'm like, okay, he's just going to hold on to the bomb. That looks like what he's going to do. He would have probably dropped it before the glider. And I'm like, oh god, this guy's going to hit the bomb, isn't he? And then there's a blue out, and I'm like, you know what, I don't care. The blue could probably target them. It ends up targeting me, which was unfortunate. Getting trailed by the bomb there is way worse than getting blued. Because at least now, I made the mistake there, by the way, of trailing. I didn't think the blue would go for me, which is why I trailed. But I definitely should have just held onto the red. There's no need. There's no one around me either. And it was just an unnecessary risk. And this guy ends up going really slow, trailing me. But yeah, end up trailing that guy. This ending is nuts, by the way. Just watch and see. Barely avoiding the Nana to get the double. Triple True Star is an amazing pull, and just watch this. Yep. How does that even happen? I thought I was getting maybe 1 spot at the end because of everyone who had shrooms in front of me, but I got 4. So, yeah, we take those all day. That was very good. And now we're getting the middle of TikTok clock. I have triple shrooms. In a decent spot, I have 10 coins as well. Pretty close to first as well with 2 shrooms, so this is an amazing spot to be in. I just need to hold on to my spot and not get hit by the spam in the pack. This guy's a star in front of me, and I thought, okay, is he going to use it here? He does. Somehow went like almost slower than me there. And look at this bomb up on the right. Go to the left, shroom. Recover as well. Didn't get the trick, but that's fine. And we went for the single just because I didn't think I would get to back the red anyways. And I go for the disc, and I miss it. And that mistake is going to cost me so many spots. It's going to get me 10th. 10th place instead of 3rd. Honestly, I should have just gone around. I was not going to gain any spots by taking that. And if I get the person behind me with the horn, and let's say they take the cut, I can get them with the horn very easily. And that's an easy 3rd place. I don't know why I went for that. It was just a very foolish mistake. Here at the end of MKS, this is the last race. I end up getting bombed, so I can't take the build extension, but it's still fine. It takes me around the turn. I'm just thinking, okay, I'm going to wait for this box, but then the shock happens. It gets me after the set. The momentum carries me to the right of the boxes, and now I have nothing, and I'm just like, oh no, it's over for me. At this point, I was down 74 points, so I had a disaster back half. Only 25, or 29, sorry, in the last 5 races. And I'm just thinking, oh god, is this going to give me only 30 in the last 6? But I pull Shroom Ghost. I'm like, oh, please give me triple shrooms, please. And I end up getting super lucky. Turn on motion. Have 2 shrooms for the end. And I pull another one. Gets me an extra 2 spots. And that's going to actually save me a lot of MMR because I end up getting tie 6 with 2 other people. So it could have been 8th. But instead we get tie 6. But we still lose a little bit of MMR. And we've only lost MMR so far. So I'm hoping to change that with another FFA. We're on DK Mountain. And this is an absolutely insane DK Mountain. But before we get to that, subscribe to the channel, guys. Because, you know, it helps me out a lot. I would really appreciate it. And October is going to be an absolutely huge month for the channel. There is an exciting 200cc Grand Invitational coming up this Saturday, starting at 1 p.m. Eastern. So look forward to that. It's going to be an absolute blast. We're going to have a cast. We're going to have everything you could possibly want with the highest level 200cc gameplay. And yeah, let's get back to this. I have an absolutely huge lead in first. A full cannon lead, in fact. So I'm thinking, okay, what could possibly go wrong here? I get past the cut, like, there hasn't been a shock yet. I'm big chillin'. Oh, there it is. I'm like, okay, still fine. Even though, like, 3, 4, 5, 6 all dodge, I'm still getting first here. Like, I have such a big... Oh. Break. Yeah, that second shock dodged, like, 5 people. I don't know why they used it there. But yeah, this tomato guy looks like he's getting first, but that section is really bad for inward growing at the perfect time. But he has a plant. And I get ghosted. Luckily, we don't get redded. But that's third instead of first. And I had a terrible movie up to this point. I think this was race 7. Horrible first half, only 31. And there's a guy on 87 hogging a lot of the points, which is the only reason why I'm not, like, 10th or last there going into that race. But now I got a couple of decent races up to this point, so I was on 61 after 9, which is pretty good. It's decent enough. Passable, you could say. But this race is going to determine a lot. This track always, and I mean always, gives me, like, first or last, and there's no in between for me. Luckily, I already drafted up into second here, and redded the guy in first, but this guy ends up getting ahead of me somehow. I think he took the cut and had a insane line afterwards, but this guy does not have many coins that I could tell, so I'm just trying to go really wide here. Probably need to not drift to the left there, and I'm just redding his red because I don't want to deal with his trails. And then I pull a coin! I didn't think he'd have double reds there, and then he hits the cow in first, and I'm like, please. Please do not send a blue shell my way. I do not deserve a blue shell. After, I believe that guy was the MVP, by the way. I might be wrong. I think it was Choco Mint was the one. Anyways, either way, he just absolutely fails. And I'm just hoping I don't get punished. Back the bomb, just to make the guy in second go a little bit wide. I pull another one, which is great. And my plan here is, I'm just going to bomb right after the cut. And that's going to catch anyone who dares to shroom up here. And I think the guy in second barely avoids it, but he still went slow enough to where now it doesn't matter. Pull a horn, even if there's a blue, doesn't matter. Oh, just kidding, it would matter. But it doesn't come in time. We get first. Like I said, first or last, always happens here. End up getting first, which could end up saving my Mogi here, because, as you can see, this first brings me up a whole lot of points. Or a whole lot of spots, sorry. Tied fourth now, going into the last race. And now we're on Mushroom Gorge. And here, this is the ideal spot, really, you want to be in. You want to have a star, but unfortunately I have to use it a little bit early because this guy's a red in the back. But I get another star, and this is just beautiful. This is going to ruin me the race. And I have to start a little early because of the greens, but I'm thinking, this is totally fine. I don't have to deal with any of this. And then I super bounce, and I thought my star was going to last longer, going to take me over the second mushroom and onto the last one. But it doesn't for some reason. Looking back, it looks like it should have done it for me. But it was just barely wasn't enough. And I get last, and that cost me a whole bunch. If I got first there, I would have got second overall. Would have gave me a ton of MMR. But instead... Oh, that was not the final race. Oops. But instead, going to the final race, I'm only 5th, and I can't really have a shot at second here. Because of how far away second is. If I got first, I would have been the one in second going into the last race. Would have been on 91? And obviously the people ahead of me would have gotten at least -1 point. So I'm just in shambles at this point. I need to recover some semblance of positions here. And that guy just bombs me for no reason. Has double bombs. And is just slowing down for the coins. I wanted to get revenge. Didn't even get him. And here, I even missed the double. As you can tell, I am definitely not tilted. But yeah. Shroom 4th, 7 coins. It's not terrible. It could be a lot better considering how far away first is. I'm thinking, okay, I'm just going to chain here. almost get random greened and just pull triple shrooms and take the cut. But I pulled triple greens fire, so I'm like, okay, this is fine. We're at 10 coins now. First is still as far ahead as they were last time when I touched the box, so surely this time I will pull some shrooms, back the heck out of some people, and only 4 greens. There's even a blue. If I had gotten any shrooms there, I would have been in the driver's seat to probably even get first this race. But now I have to go around the cut, and the blue doesn't even connect, which is even worse. At this point, I'm just hoping that I just don't get destroyed by power items. And I'm like, okay, what am I pulling here? What? Oh, I got a ghost? Okay, where was this before the cut? I ghosted a little early to try and steal the star, and I ghosted single Nana. So I'm hoping for triple shrooms. Only get 1. There's triple reds behind me. I have to slow down, hit the wall a little bit, and shroom up. I'm like, okay, I can get the double here, and the guy does not block the red with 2 of his Nanas. The Bill takes the double. My Mogi is over, and I just have to hope that none of my competition below me gets insane spots, because otherwise I'm getting minus a bunch of MMR. And somehow, someway, I'm not getting last, despite all that happened. And I'm just praying that all my competition didn't get good races. Tomato does and beats me, which means I get 7th, and I lose 42 MMR for that. Which is not good. Not good at all. So yeah, we've only lost MMR so far in this episode. And going into the last Mogi, another 2v2. This time, we're tagged, I believe, Z once again. Have to horn, the green going for me. Have triple shrooms after. This is a pretty good spot to be in. Again, this is very similar to the other TikTok race. But this time there's fire, and I barely avoid it. Block the red as well. Have double reds for the end. The guy with a horn takes out the guy with triple Nanas. And I'm looking so good. I don't even think the guy in front of me has protection. I throw the red a little early, and I get him. But unfortunately, my red gets taken out. And I thought I would have to back the bomb on the red, but luckily the fire took it out. And I get 2nd here, which is great. And I had no idea who my teammate was, what Yoshi they were on. I hadn't seen the entire race. And they get 3rd somehow. So we got 2-3 that race, which is huge and a great start. And this race doesn't really matter, by the way. You'll see in a little bit. A little minor spoiler, but essentially, I showed the first race mainly because of what happens here. And as you can see, the guy in last is really far behind. And after everyone passes, that green bird on the minimap is completely stopped, which means the room is going to crash. And we have to reset the room. So we're going to add the scores from the first race onto the rest of the Mogi. Here, we're seeing the end of High Roll Circuit. There's a shock and a blue for first place. I was gone in 2nd. And now I'm going to be first after the blue. And I'm just like so gone. I'm thinking there's nothing can stop me here. As long as I don't get double redded by this guy in 2nd, I'm going to be totally chilling. And I saw he had a horn, so I'm big chilling. I see the Bill, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to beat this Bill out, right? It's going to be close, but wow, it got to be a lot quicker than I thought it would. And then I see the horn, saw it earlier, so I end up spacing out a little bit. I'm like, okay, I'm good enough here. First isn't going to fail, right? But he hits the piranha plant, and then the guy in 2nd has to horn, obviously, or otherwise he'd get trailed, and yeah. We get 7th instead of 3rd. Well, actually, instead of 1st, because I made a huge, beautiful mistake as to not get out of the way of the Bill. And, I mean, I guess maybe 2nd, because maybe the Bill beats me, but usually the Bills slow down right after they pass you in 1st. So it was very possible that I still could have got 1st that race. Regardless, brutal mistake and a brutal way to end it. Yeah, as you can tell, I decided to switch things up. I wanted to be a menace this race. This is DK Summit. I want to get in the front as best and easy as I can. So I wanted to take out the guy in 3rd or 2nd straight away, maybe even side red him. And this guy was not very happy that I tried to red him. And he's going very slow on this double. I'm thinking, okay, I just need to get this guy out of my face. Hopefully surprise red him. And I'm like, is he lagging? No, oh, Shy Guy. And he wasn't lagging. He actually got hit. So now we're in 1st, even after hitting the Shy Guy, on 2 coins. This guy has a star in 2nd. So yeah, that's normal DKS behavior. Pull a coin, insta-spam it. Just need to get that coin count up. I thought about doing the coin strat here, but nah. Let's just stay in first. If I see a blue, I'm going to have plenty of time to back out. Get the blooper off her face barely in time. And the star comes up and has triple shrooms. So now they're just gone in first, or at least I thought they would be, but they ended up going for the cut. I don't remember. Oh, no, they were actually gone in first. Never mind. And now we're third. The guy in first is going to dodge the blue, which is not great for me. I'm not in a great spot to pull anything good at the cannon set, and I kind of have to just keep going. Because, as you see, I think there was triple greens behind me. But I got 2 coins off the lag from the guy dodging the blue shell. And I pulled triple shrooms. A lucky triple shrooms pull in third. And now this is looking like an amazing spot for me. I could maybe even get first here. I horn at the set. Get out my triple shrooms. Shroom up. In close second. And this guy's a red, so I have to be very careful to not get trailed by him. And I shroom up. Get ahead of him. He doesn't red me in time. Pull out my triple greens. And now we're smooth sailing to the finish line. After that crazy race, we somehow get first. And yeah, that's just so insane. I think my teammate at this point was on Tanuki, by the way, or the other Tanuki. So he got 11th instead of 2nd. Would have been top 2 if he was that Tanuki. But there was another one in the room. But yeah, we're tied first now after adding those scores. Okay, now we're on DKJ. DKJ, near the end of lap 3. Here comes a shock. And I barely get onto the boost panel. An insane recovery. And that shock is actually really good for me because now I'm still going to be first even after I grow here. And I'm thinking, okay, we just have to hope for no blue shell. But I can get myself onto the glider here, maybe save a couple of spots. I get blue and I cancel it. The horn takes out the triple greens, which would have comboed me. Ghost takes my banana. Somehow I hop over the ramp instead of getting the trick. And I get 4th instead of 3rd. Could have been 2-3, but 2-4 is still an amazing race. 21-point race. And now we are gone in first. Up 17 points on 2nd place. But the question is, will that last? I'm in last on Pinball, one of my best tracks. And I pull Star Bill, luckily. Barely avoid the Nana on the landing. For whatever reason, no one hits that. But, yeah, I have Star Bill, have 8 coins. This is a pretty decent spot for me. I probably should have started a little bit earlier, because people chaining the shock there would have used it a little bit earlier. But I have Bill Golden now, and this is a very good pull. Almost got lag trailed by those greens. Bill a little early, just to make sure I don't get shocked. And now I have a golden in 5th. But there's a guy behind me with a red. And so I'm thinking, okay, I can maybe pass this guy, right? But I can't. So just before the glider, I stop. Barely, just in time to get behind him so I don't get redded at the set. And I get another box here, thinking it's like triple shrooms, but I get redded. So this is just terrible. And guy in 8th on lap 3 hits a banana on the landing, probably from a guy in like 2nd or 3rd or 1st even, which is very funny. But at this point, I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to pull a dodge here. There's no way I don't. But I pull blooper behind. And I'm thinking, okay, maybe there's a shock, right, to save me. And there is! I dodge with a blooper! Let's go. And it's barely getting me any spots. Chain the blooper, get triple greens in front, which is not great. You don't want to get rid of these, especially with potential of a red. Teammate's in front of me, though. And maybe I could beat this guy in front of me if I greet him. And I beat a different guy, and we ended up getting 4-6 out of it. So, considering how terrible the luck factor was that race, considering the red, we get 4-6, which is just insane. We've only got a couple more races left. Wario Stadium. At this point, we don't have the lead we did, like on race 6, I believe. So it's getting very close. There's a bunch of teams that could beat us, and we just have to hope we do our best in these last couple. I pull a shroom, only on 2 coins though. Get a couple more, go around the fireball. In 3rd, this is good. 2nd has nothing. And my plan here is I just need to space out a little bit, so I go a little bit wide. I also would have not gotten the box had I gotten tight there. He ends up shrooming up, doesn't red me with the lag there. And now I have a horn. He's going to be forced to back out for me. And now there's a blue shell as well. So I get into 1st place, hoard all 3 of the nanas on the coins. I don't know why there was triple nanas on the coins. But yeah, we're going to speed this part up, because not much really happens here until we get a shock. And absolutely no one in the room dodged that shock. Which is just so good for me. And I get this insane launch trick, which I had never done before. Did it while I was small. That saved a ton of time. Now we pull double defense as well in first, just to top it all off. The game rewards us for driving so good. And I knew my teammate was the second here. We get a ground shroom as well, just to top it all off. I'm like, okay, as long as he doesn't get double reds, we'll be fine. I don't even think he should be redding me here because of how far away he is. But he might still try. And I'm just like, okay, he hasn't thrown the red. We're good. We're good at this point. But the red comes later. He basically frame changes in the set. Another red comes, but I pull defense just in time. And we get a good old first place. My teammate was the one actually holding blue in last place. And he still manages to get an extra spot off of it. So that's a really good 17-point race. We'll see. Where does that put us? It puts us in first place. 7-point lead. But we can still get fourth here if we get a bad race on Daisy Cruiser. This is the final race. Not going to show the whole thing. I didn't start in first after all. You know, this is just a typical start where, you know, nothing really happens. And no one pulled a red behind me, so I ended up being safe. And pull banana, which is great. Could have gotten a coin. And people really love to red out first here on this track, including me. Because, well, the track is so short. And there's not too many boxes for people to pull shocks and blues. So, double defense, by the way, from 2 singles. But there's a blue. Basically the earliest blue you can get. I tried to find a spot to Nana Snipe myself. That's why I didn't go for the extra mini turbo. But now we have banana in second. And the guy has horn in first, which is not great. But it's okay. And, oh, the triple nanas. We don't get trailed by them. So we're actually in a great spot because top 3 has a pretty big break over the pack here. And this guy in front of me is just going to keep his nanas. And they end up getting ghosted, which is great for me because now I don't have to deal with him at all. He hits the Goomba. I have triple greens. Don't want to get trailed by him, so I pull out my red, or pull out my triple greens by using my red. And now we're in second. We flipped the tables around in our favor. And if I get second here, we almost have it guaranteed that we have first because B is in first. I think that was the only team that we were not competing with. Or maybe, no, they had like an 18-point deficit. Barely missed the blue, but the bomb gets me on the line. Absolutely domes me. And I still get 5th. I'm thinking, okay, maybe we have enough here. But my teammate got 10th. So like, oh no, there's got to be a team that beats us here, right? And I'm looking at all the scores. I have to calculate in my head because of the first race, the DC. But we barely beat everyone. There was 4 teams that could have got first there. But we barely get the win out there. And we get a plus 205 for our troubles. And here's the 4 Mogies, the stats from it. Let me know if you guys want to see more content just like this. Only a 68 partner average, but we did kind of kill ourselves with the FFAs. But yeah, enjoy the rest of your day wherever you are, and have a good one. See you guys next time. Bye-bye.